Hi guys, Graham, who do we have today?
So we have with us Phil Riand from Darwino Inc., and he's going to do a presentation on application modernization with the Darwino tool. Good morning, Phil.
Good morning, Graham. Good morning, Colin.
Thanks
I
for
hope
being
you
here,
guys are
Phil.
doing great. Thank you.
Likewise.
All right, so let's jump into it here. Go ahead, Colin.
So I'm Colin Breckles with Castlebrec, IBM champion named this year along with Graham, and proud to be part of the C3UG as a core team member, and really glad to be here today with Phil and Graham.
And Graham Akers from the opposite side of Canada. Yeah, and Colin and I are core team members on C3UG, and happy to bring this presentation to you today.
So the C3UG is, as we alluded to, it's a national user group coast to coast, and we've got a global reach. And due to all of your out-of-office responses to our invitation to the webinar, we decided to try a little bit different format and make this one available straight as an on-demand piece of content. And Phil's agreed to do that for the first time with us. You enjoyed the format, those of you that attended, where we simulcasted from multiple cities across Canada, and this will be something different.
Thank you, Graham, and thank you, Colin, for giving me this opportunity to talk about Darwino. So first, let me introduce myself quickly. So as like my host, I'm an IBM champion. I'm the CTO of Trilog Group, which is known for its project deck solution that runs on top of IBM Connections, and now also Darwino Inc., that provides an application development platform. Prior to this, I was actually working at IBM, and I was the chief architect of application development for ICS and the chief architect for IBM Domino X Pages. So what I'm going to show you today is Darwino. The presentation will be mostly made of demos, and you'll see the different use cases that we can cover with Darwino. Before we start, let me tell you what is Darwino. It's an open platform, and it runs in standard environments. So there is nothing that is proprietary inside Darwino. All open, all standard. So we talk about J servers, relational databases, LDAP, everything that you have. It's based on standard languages and libraries. So you'll see that a lot of Darwino is made of Java, but we also support JavaScript, HTML, CSS, mobile native. And from a UI standpoint, we let you use your library of choice like AngularJS, React.js. At least we target all the common, well-known standard JavaScript libraries these days. And from a tooling standpoint, same thing, we are very pervasive. And if we provide some Eclipse plugins, we can also run in Android Studio or let you use Xcode, Visual Studio Code, whatever you like, including, of course, Domino Designer. So the main point of Darwino is if you're a Domino developer or if you're an IBM developer, you can reuse the skills of few teams. You can reuse what you already know when you're developing with Darwino. And last but not least, Darwino is coming with the full source code. So there is nothing hidden. You can understand what's going on under the hood here. Similarly to Domino, Darwino provides a full stack of components. And it provides actually what we call a distributed application development platform. Distributed means that the same code can run at different places. It can run on servers, and it can run on mobile devices. And when it runs on mobile devices, it provides a full offline capability to your application. We focus on providing all the plumbing with Darwino, so the developers really have to work on the application logic, and we take care of all the little details in the implementation here. We come with a lot of APIs. Darwino is API first, and some of our APIs are encapsulating the existing services, thus isolating the developers from the different platforms. So by doing that, we can ensure that the same app can run in different contexts and in different environments without having to change the API calls. And we're doing that by the use of connectors. We have connectors to different databases. We have connectors to different directory systems. We have connectors to now AI system like Watson. So by just using these connectors, you're really isolated and you preserve your investment over time. At the heart of Darwino, there is a document store. So it's similar to Domino, except that the document store is based on top of JSON. We're storing JSON documents with attachments and with all the capabilities that you can see in Domino, like response documents, categorizations, plus a lot more. And this implementation is not something that we did from scratch, but it's something that we built on top of relational databases. And by doing that, we ensure that the code is portable across platforms and runs either on mobile devices and servers, and we can leverage all the goodies of relational databases like query capabilities, like transactions, so you can really work with documents, with transactions, and all of these that are, all these features are normally not available to JSON document store. If you compare to MongoDB or ColorDB, they don't have these capabilities. Our DBMS has that. Plus, it has really superior scalability and performance. And this is achieved on top of our DBMS now with the use of the new JSON capabilities available in this RDBMS. This is true for DB2, PostgreSQL, Microsoft SQL Server. I mean, we support all these databases. And the store, like Domino, supports replication or synchronization. Depending where you're coming from, you use one or the other word. And we can replicate data between different servers, and we can replicate data between servers and mobile devices. And more than that, we can replicate existing data or data on existing legacy systems and then bring this data down offline to your mobile devices. And this is typically what we're doing with Domino. Again, it's all Java-based, so if you are familiar with Java, you will be really at home very, very quickly with Darwino. So this is a quick picture of the different components of Darwino. So we have the connectors and all the APIs that are isolating you from the different backends that you can have. The APIs on top of that, like the document store, the replication, access to directory, cognitive services, and the third layer at the top, which is the designer, which is a set of tools that we are providing as either web apps like the Playground or plugins to Eclipse like the Studio and more. So one of the things we're doing with Darwino for IBM developers is that we are providing continuity. Continuity is what we call the Darwino signature. So you start with your skills, and incrementally, you can enhance your applications without any disruptions. So you can start with micro apps. Macro applications are simple applications that you are writing just within Domino Designer. They can leverage XPages, but they can be projected to your mobile devices. And it supports notifications and all the mobile capabilities within a native mobile app. I'm going to demo that. If you're Domino developers, then we can provide you superior capabilities with Darwino, because you can replicate the data from IBM Domino to Darwino, and then you can build a brand new applications on top of the data in Darwino. And then you can provide really state-of-the-art mobile user interfaces or web interfaces. Plus, you can do a lot of capabilities like data reporting. I'm going to demo that as well. And finally, you can use Darwino as a complete application development platform, even without the use of IBM Domino. And we have a deep integration with the IBM platform beyond Domino. So we integrate with IBM Connections whenever it's IBM Connections Cloud or IBM Connections on premises. We integrate with the Watson services. We integrate with Watson Workspace, right? And we can enable notifications to Watson Workspace and so forth. So the goal here is with Domino to move your applications to where they are today, in particular with Domino, to the new technologies and to the new IBM platform, doing that incrementally, and very continuously. So when we talk about Darwino for Domino, so what we're doing is really we provide high fidelity data replication. So this is really the core of Darwino. We have a JSON document store, and this JSON document store has a high fidelity replication capability with Domino. So in other words, we can get the data out of Domino and put them in a Darwino store. And once they're in Darwino store in the JSON format, that enables a lot more capabilities, and in particular, that enables mobile development and mobile offline development. We provide with Darwino the best user experience. Really, this is something we're focusing on, cross-platform, iOS, Android, mobile, and offline capabilities for all your apps. Once you develop an application with Darwino, you don't have to choose at the beginning where you want to deploy it. Darwino offers a model where you can deploy the same app to your systems on premises, like IBM WebSphere, Tomcat, Jetty, whatever server you have in-house, or you can deploy that, or you can deploy your app on the cloud. And we support, of course, IBM Bluemix, but also Microsoft Azure and other cloud providers. And we support also hybrid because of the replication capability. You can still have your app running locally in-house on your on-premises servers with the entire data set, and you can replicate a subset of the data to the cloud to expose that to your users. But you don't have to expose your entire data set. We support what we call here selective replication. And again, as I said earlier, we are fully integrated with the IBM platform. So once your app is created, your Darwino app is created, you can run it within IBM connections as community applications or widgets, and you can leverage all the connection services, the Watson Workspace services, and the Watson Cognitive services. All is pre-integrated. So let's start with the first demo. This is typically what we would do with an existing Domino application. I have a Domino server. My users are accessing my application using either the Notes client or a browser and X Pages. And now I want to provide a mobile experience to this application. So what I'm doing here is I'm replicating the data from my existing Domino server to my Darwino application here, which can be on premises or on the cloud. And once the data is replicated into Domino, then I can provide a mobile app, I can provide a web app, and I can actually call any of the IBM services on top of the data. And that we make that very, very easy because everything is JSON and everything is API based. So let me show you a demo of this. So I'm going to start with a well-known application from IBM, which is the discussion database. And the reason why we chose this application is because IBM is providing a set of discussion databases on the net through LDD, the different forums, like the X Pages forums. And we wanted to show that we can modernize an application, an existing Domino application, without even touching the application. So it's running as is, without any change. So let me go there. It's the X Pages forum. So I can say, hello, G, because it's the IBM database, there is a few fields that I have to fill here, even though in my context doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's okay. And I can say, hello, I'm so happy to demo Darwino to you guys, right? This is rich text, so actually let Darwino deserve a capital D, and it deserves to be bold, right? I can also go and copy an image. So let's say that here I'm copying the C3UG image. I'm pasting it. All right, because this is rich text, I can do that. And I can save my document. So my document is being saved in my Notes database. Perfect. Behind the scene, this database is replicated with the Darwino database. And I created a Darwino application using just AngularJS and Ionic. Ionic being a framework for writing mobile apps using HTML and JavaScript. So if I go now to my Darwino application, I can sign in, right? And this is my mobile app, and I can see the document I just created, right? It's a mobile app. It's actually fully responsive. So here it's one pane, and I can navigate to the different documents, or if I expand it, it can be 2 panes, or if I really zoom in, it can be 3 panes. So it's completely mobile enabled, it's completely responsive, and now I can see my data. And you can see that Darwino is bold, and my image is being inserted. So when we replicated the data from Domino to Darwino, we really transform, or we replicate rich text, and we also replicate images and attachments. We support everything that Domino supports. So that's okay. But now that it's in Domino, this application can run inside a mobile device. So if I go to my Android tablet here, this is an Android emulator, and I can see 2 things. The first thing is I asked this application to work with local data, which means that it has a local copy. And the second thing, there is this little icon. And this little icon is telling me that something was replicated in the background and there is a change. So if I refresh my view, I can see now that my document appears on my mobile device. If I go offline, for example, let's pretend I'm traveling, I can still continue to work with my document, right? And not only the data is offline and let me continue, but all the other data, like, for example, the picture, and the pictures here are coming from connections, from IBM connections, and the pictures are also replicated down to my device, so I can continue to work like I would if I were connected. So I can put a reply here and say, it worked well on Android, and we support iOS as well. Very good, right? And I can save my document. It's here, and it has been attached as a response. As I said earlier, the Darwino document store support document hierarchies, so I can see that. If I go back to my web application, and if I refresh, of course, I won't see any response because I was offline with my Android tablet. And now, if I go online, let's pretend I'm landing, I'm done. Automatically, the tablet detected that now it got connectivity. And if I refresh on the server, it has been replicated automatically from Darwino and from my mobile device. So I can see my response here. And because the replication is a two-way replication with Notes and Domino, if I go back to my Notes client and I refresh my view, I can see my document. So just to summarize, with Darwino, we have a two-way replication capability with Domino. We can get any of your Domino data into a relational database in the form of JSON documents and attachments. And once it's in the Darwino database, you can create a top-notch mobile app and web app on the same data, and everything you do will be replicated. So what Darwino allows you here is really an incremental enhancement of your apps, because you don't have to, in the mobile app, you don't have to provide all the capabilities you had previously in Notes and Domino. You can just provide what is needed for your mobile app and still continue to work with Domino at the same time if you want, because they do replicate both ways. Because now we're in Darwino and we have a lot of APIs, you can see the different flags here. And these flags are because Darwino is calling the Watson services. And so in Canada, I know that you're speaking different languages, right? One is English, of course, that we're using here, but the other one is French. So you can see that while I said hello 3UG has been transformed in 3UG bonjour, right? And you can see that the text has been transformed and translated. And it has been translated actually through IBM Watson services. So behind the scene, we can call all these services and we can suddenly provide new capabilities to your existing applications. You can see this one which has a little bit more text, but has been completely translated into French. Or here we use also Spanish as an example of translation. And beyond translation, you can call any Watson service. Another one is the tone analyzer. So if we look at this thread, we can see the different tone of the thread by calling Watson and say, please, Watson, analyze this text. And based on the results here, it's very easy to send a notification. If, for example, we're finding some anger or some fear in a particular thread, we can send a notification and we can really monitor what is happening with this application. All right, this is really the grand picture of Darwino and how you can enhance your Domino apps, or you can create brand new apps in Darwino leveraging, the IBM platform. Any questions?
Yeah, does that app come as a template, Darwino template app when you buy Darwino?
Yes, it comes as a template, and it comes with the full source code provided under an MIT license, so it can be reusable the way you want.
Cool.
And we're also we're working on other templates that we're going to provide as open source as well. And using different technologies. This one is using AngularJS. We're going to provide some React.js templates, for example. The second thing I want to show you here is a capability that is enabled by Darwino. Once your data is in Darwino, you can do reporting. So let's see this database here. This is a database that is coming from OpenNTF, actually a project I created a few years ago in OpenNTF. I did as customers, employee, offices, products, product lines, and so forth. And everything is within documents. And now I want to create a report on this data. So what we did is we replicated the data inside a Darwino database. And because the Darwino database is a relational database, we can use any of the existing reporting tools on the market. So here I'm using BERT, but we can use Tableau, we can use Cognos, we can use anything that can actually connect to a relational database. So now that I'm in BERT, I can really do some reporting here. And here where I am. So the products, here I'm displaying the products, the Harley Davidson, which is here. And because we're replicating, we can do really real-time reports. If I go to my notes document and I change the content of this document. So let me customize this, right? And say C3UG demo. So my document in Notes has been changed, Notes and Domino has been changed. This document has been replicated instantly to Darwino, the change. And if I'm now running the report, you can see that I can find my change here. So this is another great capability that is provided by Darwino. It's because we get the data inside the relational database, you can consume this data with any tool that can actually connect to a relational database. So it can be data analytics, business intelligence, reporting, right? And you can do that really on the fly. It's instant. With instant replication, you have access to live data through these tools. The last thing I want to show you now is how we can also use Darwino to do micro apps. And in particular, this solves a problem where you have some existing Notes Domino applications and you want people typically to approve or reject a workflow cycle on these existing applications and do that on a mobile device. So here's a typical application that I have, a Notes Domino application, which is a purchase request application. So it's very easy to actually create a new request in Notes and say it's IBM plus 3UG. I can put the method of purchase here, which is going to be credit card. And I say this is an urgent request, right? I can modify that. This is rich text. And I can then add what I want to buy. I need to have one new laptop. for $500, and let's say one video camera, so people can see my face for $50. So this is really a typical Notes app that will require approval and the workflow cycle. Now, the people doing the approval, they want to do that on their mobile devices. So I can see my mobile device on the right side here, which is a real Samsung device running next to me, but the screen is being shared here. So let me submit the form. It's done, so I can see it in Notes. If I go to my mobile device now, I should get a notification. Here we are, purchase approval pending for Philippe Riand. So I got the notification. I can actually see it in the list of notifications. All of this is completely customizable, so you can change the logo, you can change the title. Actually, it's an application that is provided with its source code, and I can see my request here, right? That's my one laptop, one camera, and I can approve or reject this request. It fully supports all the capabilities of Notes and Domino, and typically here you can see a collapsible section, and I can see my rich tags being rendered here as bold as I put there. So let me now approve this request. Okay, it's done. If I go back to Notes and I refresh, it disappeared from my list. So with Darwino, it becomes very, very easy to actually create a mobile app that people can use to interact with existing applications, and in particular, to approve or reject requests using a workflow cycle. If you want to know more about Darwino, you can go to the playground. The playground is available at https://playground.darwino.com. And if you go there, you'll see our Java APIs, you'll see our JavaScript APIs, Darwino DB, which is the JSON store, and how in particular we do queries with the Darwino DB, JSQL, which is a very interesting capabilities in Darwino to do queries using SQL on top of a JSON database, GraphQL, which is a kind of REST services, but aggregated REST services on top of your Darwino data, microservices, and we showcased that this year at Connect, and in particular, we can show you how you create microservices using any language. So here it's Groovy and doing some requests in the database. So here it's a pinball database, and we are finding the most expensive pinball, and we are sending the result to Alexa, the Amazon Echo Dot, so you can spell it out. So you can ask what is the most expensive pinball, and you get the response here. And finally, we have an entire set of REST APIs, and they're all described here in this tab, and they are provided as a Swagger/Open API interface, so you can consume these APIs with any tool in the market. So that's about Darwino. Here you can see a set of Darwino resources you can go to grab more information. And where the main message here is, with Darwino, we have an open platform that you can easily pick up to create brand new applications or to modernize your existing applications, and in particular the Notes to Darwino applications, and that can then leverage any other of the existing services, the IBM services, whenever there are connections, Watson Workspace, and more. So I hope you enjoyed the demo, and go to our website, and we want to hear about you. Thank you.
Very much so. And at this point, it's probably worth adding that if anybody viewing has questions, we will be posting this with a link to this on the C3UG website and allowing comments in line there. So I think, Graham, that's the mechanism that we're going to be doing so that people can actually ask questions of our presenters for on-demand resources.
Yeah, we'll monitor that and interact with Phil and invite him to answer those questions, or we can get the answers and post them there as well. So please do interact with us.
Well, Phil, excellent presentation. Thank you very much. And did you have anything else for us today, Phil?
I think, nope, I'm all set. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody. And let's talk about what comes next. Graham.
Yeah, so we're going to work on more on-demand presentations and certainly have a couple of others lined up, but also interested in what you would like to see. So let us know, and we can reach out to our network and bring those people on board and have them show some presentations. We are planning our next in-person meeting for November of this year. Again, interested in the types of content that you'd like to present or see presented, or in fact, if you would like to present, please do get involved with us. We're always looking for help and like to spread out the work amongst others. So if you'd like to get involved, reach out to us, and certainly let others know the types of content that are available. Past presentations are all up on our c3ug.ca website, so you can download previous presentations, and we look forward to seeing you again.
And the one thing I would add at this point is in the pipeline, we actually have not one or two, but I think we've got 3 more very well-known people and companies queued up to do presentations for us that we know will be relevant to the audience. Thanks for your time. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a wonderful day. And thank you, Phil.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Phil.